The first thing I heard was laughter. Thin, metallic, soaked in something I couldn't name at first. I stood outside my own front door, coat still damp from the drizzle, the notary's envelope warm in my pocket like a secret heartbeat. I had rehearsed my entrance the whole drive home. A light knock, a quiet smile, a simple, "It's done." But the laughter stopped me. Then came the voice of my wife, low, sharp, a whisper honed into a blade. 6 apartments? A vacation house? He won't see a rupee of it. Another voice, her mother's, joined in. He's too naive. Make him put everything in your name first. Men like him, they're tools. The words slid under my ribs like cold needles. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The notary packet felt suddenly heavier. My phone buzzed in my hand. A message. From her. Sent while she stood feet away. Pick up groceries on your way back, and don't be late. That was the moment, standing there, soaked, unwanted in my own home, when something inside me shifted. Not loudly, not violently, just a quiet pivot in the dark. A door unlocking in a part of me I had always pretended didn't exist. I stepped back from the door, letting their voices fade into muffled venom. My reflection in the hallway glass looked different, calm, focused. I turned away without entering. The day I inherited everything was the same day I realized I had nothing. I walked, letting the evening swallow the shock. The city lights flickered against wet pavement, each reflection a reminder of how blind I'd been. Her words repeated in my skull. Tools, naive, take everything. They weren't new insults, not really, just newly aimed at me. Small memories drifted up. The way she'd hide her phone when I entered a room. The pauses before she answered simple questions. The sudden softness only when she wanted something expensive. Her mother's presence had grown heavier in the house, like a stain you couldn't scrub out. Every decision had to be approved. Every boundary I set was controlling. And I, trying to keep peace, had let them redraw the map of my life without protest. But betrayal only hurts the first few minutes. After that, it becomes revelation. A crack that lets the truth in. As I walked, I replayed the last week. My wife's sudden interest in my grandfather's estate. Her exaggerated sympathy. The way she'd asked, casual, careless, if inheritance laws allowed shared ownership between spouses. The storm inside me was quiet, measured. Not rage, not yet, just awakening. I knew one thing. I couldn't confront them. Not now. Not without proof. Not without understanding the full scope of what they thought they could take. A single line from the conversation replayed, carved in ice. Once it's in your name, leave him. You'll have everything you need. My heart didn't break. It froze. I began with the small things, quietly, precisely. Phone records, bank statements, screenshots of odd transfers she thought I wouldn't notice. Late-night calls between her and a number labeled Lena, though the voice I'd overheard resembled no one named Lena. I hired a private investigator. Not the dramatic kind, no trench coat, no theatrics. Just a man who listened carefully and asked for nothing except time. Every morning, I played my role. The calm husband, the tired employee, the man who didn't know his future was being carved up at the kitchen table. Inside, I was constructing a map. Her behavior, her mother's, the financial breadcrumbs they left behind. And then, as if fate wanted to sharpen the knife, she gave me more. Thanksgiving dinner is at my parents', she announced one morning, not looking up. If you want to join, come wash the dishes first. Mom says the least you can do is help. I watched her say it, watched the entitlement, the disdain she didn't bother hiding anymore. Enjoy, I replied, voice steady, eyes colder than she noticed. She rolled her eyes and walked off, convinced she had won some invisible battle. That same evening, the investigator called. I sent the files. You should open them privately. I did. Photos, messages, recordings. My wife, her mother, and a man I had never seen, sometimes in person, sometimes in calls, always talking about how quickly they could move things around once the inheritance comes in. Not emotional betrayal, financial, strategic, practiced, something far uglier, the kind that required patience and precision to answer. The notary envelope still sat sealed on my desk. I opened it slowly, almost ritualistically. 6 apartments, 1 vacation house in Switzerland, liquid assets I hadn't known existed. My grandfather's last line echoed, "I hope you use this to free yourself from the wrong people." It was almost prophetic. I printed the investigator's files, placed them in a neat black folder, and laid the inheritance documents beside them. 2 worlds, side by side, truth and rot. I waited until she returned home. She laughed when she saw me sitting at the table. "You look serious. What now?" I slid the folder toward her. No words. She opened it. Silence. Page after page. Her face draining color like ink and water. Then the inheritance papers. Her mouth fell open. Not in joy, in terror. I can explain." I shook my head once. Slow. Final. The quiet was heavier than any shout. She collapsed into frantic apology, sobbing, reaching for me. I didn't move, didn't speak. I just watched her finally see the ground disappearing under her feet. I stood, took out my phone, opened my photo gallery. The villa in Switzerland, glass walls, lake view, a sky that looked like it belonged in another world. I turned the screen toward her. Her breath hitched. Then I walked out. Not fast, not theatrical, just finished. Behind me, my phone exploded with vibration. Her calls, her mother's, flooding in like a panic attack. 71 calls in less than 30 minutes. A symphony of desperation. I answered none. Vindication didn't feel loud. It felt clean. I drove until the city disappeared behind me, and the night opened wide and quiet. My hands were steady on the wheel, lighter than they had felt in years. Betrayal is an education, a brutal one, precise, necessary. They wanted my inheritance. They ended up losing me. And I gained something far more valuable, myself. I parked by the lake and let the cold wind wash through the last remnants of who I had been. No anger, no grief, just clarity. Some relationships end with a fight. Mine ended with a folder on a table and a silent walk toward freedom. And the final truth settled in my bones like steel. Sometimes the cleanest revenge is simply not needing them anymore.